last years of the 19th century, that human affairs were being watched from the timeless worlds of space. No one could have dreamed we were being scrutinized as someone with a microscope studies creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. Few men even considered the possibility of life on other planets. And yet, across the gulf of space, minds immeasurably superior to ours regarded this Earth with envious eyes. And slowly and surely, they drew their plans against us.
Broadcasting live
from a tiny studio somewhere in North America.
This is Dark Matters Radio Live. And now I give you your host,
the silverback of ufology.
Here's Don Ecker.
And ladies and gentlemen, let me turn my camera on. Welcome to a brand new Dark Matters Radio right now at Halloween. Boy, I'll tell you, it's amazing to me how quickly this year has scooted by. It's terrifying, but my God, we're, believe it or not, just about on the cusp of the Christmas season. Oh, and then before you know it, 2024. I just hope we're all here when it happens. Hey, tonight we've got a very special show. Back again, a lady that I met roughly, not quite maybe 2 months ago, who is a medium, somebody that absolutely knocked my socks off and my wife Vicky's socks off when we first met. She has an astounding ability to, I guess the best way to say it is to reach the other side. Now, Halloween, I thought, would be a perfect time to do a show rooted in there into the subject of Halloween and what it all means. You know, actually, this holiday, which has basically been conscripted by the Christian religion and from its early roots, which at that time, this was known as Samhain, not Halloween, but Samhain. It was a time when the Celts in Europe believed that the distance between our reality and the reality of those that have preceded us come very, very close together. Now, things like jack-o'-lanterns. As a matter of fact, today, Vicky found a perfect jack-o'-lantern, well, a pumpkin, and she's been working on it off and on all day long, carving the thing up. Eventually, after it's all done, it's not done yet, I'm going to take a photo of it and put it on my Facebook page. But so far, boy, she's done a great job. And those gourds were originally taken by folks and carved into various grotesque shapes to basically scare off the evil entities that, oh, what's this? Put that back up, Chanel. Our buddy Gary Kissel, Gary, said Vicky is between cutting my hair, cutting pumpkins. Okay. Well, at any rate, where was I? Oh, well, the scary gourds. It was believed that evil entities also roamed about, and hopefully these carved gourds would scare them off. Now, are there evil entities? Well, I definitely believe in negative influences. All you got to do is take a look at the current, today, world situation. And basically, that will tell you all you need to know about evil entities. But with that being said, let me bring on the whole group. Gary Kissel is once again with us, as he is most weeks when he's not doing something else.
So
Mark
she's
Center,
carving pumpkins and cutting your hair.
that's right.
Hope you didn't confuse it.
And she sleeps with me. Okay. All right. So anyway, Mark Center's not going to be here tonight. He's not. He's been a little under the weather. But
Yeah, I messaged him and he hasn't replied back. I'm assuming he's in bed.
yeah. And tonight, also, along with my guest, Ms. Heather Besser, is Ms. Rene Barnet, who once upon a time in another lifetime was Vicky and my managing editor at UFO Magazine. Oh, yes, she was. And that lady would crack the whip. Ladies, welcome to the show. And as soon as Chanel brings you up, yes.
Hi.
I got
So
the
what's
whip
this?
crack. Did you
What's
see
this
what
about
happened?
Vicky Scissorhands?
Oh, that was me. But did you see what Heather just wrote? She said, y'all want to talk to evil entities tonight? No.
Oh, I thought you said go. I was like, okay, let's go.
If you want to go after jack-o'-lanterns, you have to blame the Irish. The wee Irish and their damn shenanigans.
Yes, that's
Why do
true.
you have an evil entity knocking the door right now? Heather, is there someone standing by that you were talking about, or is it just evil entities in general?
Oh no, I was just kidding, but we can if you guys want to. Okay.
I don't think so. I think
No, thank you.
Okay.
No, thank you. We don't need the negative influence. There's enough around. My God, just turn on the news, Heather. That's all you
Or
got
have
to
a
do.
conversation with Gary.
Or have a conversation with Jagari. That's Jagari. That's not Gary. That's Jagari.
Jagary. Yeah.
Jagari. That's the name I bestowed upon him for Dark Matters Radio. Jagari.
Yeah, Clobbery calls me that too. And he's called Clobby, but I call him Clobbery, like slobbery.
Well, Heather, what has been up in your world since we last had you on a few weeks ago?
Not too much. Just doing readings and getting ready for Halloween. We've done a bunch of trunk or treats and everything because I have a 3-year-old daughter. And yeah, it's just been really fun. It's got really cold here all of a sudden.
Well, with your ability that you have, and you've had probably your entire life, does the time of season cause any changes in frequency or more activity, less activity? Now, Halloween, I go back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I got to tell you, in full disclosure, was a very guilty pleasure of mine back in the day.
I wonder why.
Angel, okay? Angel, David Boreanaz, okay, in his 5 years on the tube. Now,
He was hot. I liked him too.
did you? I'm not surprised. Now, I got to tell you, I remember one thing that Angel told Buffy or somebody at one point, that really all the supernatural entities kind of shy away from Halloween because that's when all the amateur normals are out fiddling around. Now, from your standpoint, what's the real story?
Well, I believe that everybody says that the veil is thinner during this time. And I believe that the amateurs with their Ouija boards and trying to summon things and everything makes it thinner like that because, you know, everybody's listening, not only good, but also dark. they're all listening, because if you're an amateur and you have a Ouija board in front of you, Ouija boards are a no-no. You don't do that, because you never know who you're going to get. So, but yeah, it's already started. It actually started for me. It started yesterday, because, I can turn it off and turn it on when I want to hear things. And so when I have it off, usually I don't hear anything at all. But yesterday, completely off. And then people started coming through, just random people that I had no idea who they were. They were just kind of like looking around and kind of, asking me if I could hear them. And I was like, absolutely. Is there anything that you want to get across? And it wasn't no message or anything. It was just kind of, hi, I'm here. And I know that you can see me, kind of thing.
What draws them to you?
I believe they know that I know how to communicate with them. And I think that's just it.
Does your spirit guide intercede in any of that?
Sometimes she does, but most of the time she doesn't, because they just come through. They come through just like her. And so whenever I think it's her coming through, it could be someone else.
Well, I've got a question about that, because I didn't hear your explanation previously on the spirit guide. What is your spirit guide? Who is it? And is there a reason that person is your spirit guide?
Yeah. So my spirit guide, her name is Etta. She is actually in my soul group. A soul group is, like a family who you have on the other side that you've done probably many lives with. I know that we've done several. I've only asked her about a couple. But they could be anybody. They could be old relatives. They could be someone who you don't even know. And their purpose is to kind of like guide you in life. As humans, we have free will and we can do whatever we want to do. So let me go back a little bit. So reincarnation is real. Okay. And so before we reincarnate up in heaven or paradise or whatever you want to call it, we have a plan. And we set out to do these things and these tasks, and like everything that we have done in this lifetime and everything that we will do is already like we've already talked about it before we came down here. And so the spirit guides deal is to just kind of like nudge you to keep you on that right path. So
well, mine has been noticeably absent, Heather.
Yeah.
Your what?
My spirit guide.
Okay, I've known you for a while. I've never heard about this.
Oh yeah,
What?
yeah.
Where
Her name
have you
is Sasha. Sasha. She was a Navajo indigenous person here. Apparently, she and I, through various incarnations, have been together a number of times, and since I met Heather, I've been trying to see if she can contact me. Now, she may have. Now, for example, in the evening, not every night, but a lot of times I'll go in and turn on the TV to watch a movie or something, and I've got a light in the corner of the living room. And this light has always worked perfectly. And recently, it's been flashing off and on after I have it on for a while. Now, it's not the electrical connections, I've checked, and it's not the light bulb. So I've kind of speculated, I guess is the best word, that, maybe, and Heather, if you can find out during the show, I'd love to know. Maybe Sasha is in some way trying to let me know she's there.
Well, I will say that that there is somebody trying to come through right now, but it's not Sasha. So sorry about that. But he's talking about the light in the room, and he's talking about right now. He's talking about his wife, Gloria.
Oh my God!
His two children, Matt and Nicole.
That's Richard.
Richie.
Oh my God.
Oh, brother, I miss you, buddy. Richard, I miss you badly.
He said he wouldn't miss this episode for anything.
Well, Richie joined me for years, was a co-host on this very program.
You're talking about Richard Serday?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't even know Richard's kids' names myself.
Yeah, Nicole and Matt. Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Richard,
Does he have a message for me, Heather?
He said that you give your spirit guide a hard time.
what a surprise.
How do I give her?
He said, but you've given me a hard time too. So now it's my turn.
Oh,
Oh my God. Oh, that's amazing.
He seems like a prankster, like a jokester kind of guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Ask him if he ran into Buckwheat or Jade. Jade was his favorite little blonde bombshell.
He said a lot of the times he just has to watch over you because of all the things that you decide to do.
Okay. Ask him if he read my paper yet.
He said he had to watch Vicky with those scissors today.
Oh God.
He's funny.
Yeah.
And he's laughing. He thinks he's the funniest person on earth right now.
Well, he's up there.
Is he aware of Don's latest work? Like he wrote this big paper that we're going to be releasing at some point in the near future on disclosure and the UFO situation. Is Richard aware of what Don's doing, because they did so much together?
Yeah, he said it's all right.
It's all right.
He said like everything is correct. Like it's all right.
Oh, okay. Oh, crap.
All
Okay,
right.
I have a question
Everything is
now.
all correct.
How does he feel I'm doing this as co-host?
He said I could be better.
That could be better.
Oh my goodness.
I need to be cheekier.
Yeah. He's a cheeky co-host. But yeah. Oh my goodness.
Well, was that Richard blinking the light?
Yes.
So not your
Okay.
spirit guide. It was Richard.
Well, ask him if he met Sasha.
Yes.
He has met Sasha.
He
Uh-huh.
said every time he visits you, he sees her.
Where's she at?
He said you have to be doing something right.
Yeah. Well, that's a toss-up, pal. That's a toss-up. Oh my God. Well,
First one to come through.
Richard was and I were extremely close for well over 30 years.
Oh my. Was it that
back-
long, Don?
91, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's when Richard and I were out taking meetings all over Hollywood trying to pitch that UFO magazine show.
Right.
And we thought we had it with Sci-Fi. And this is back just not long after Sci-Fi came on the air, the science fiction channel. And they were very interested. But at that time, they basically had no money. And they had spent a chunk of money for the rights to run the Invader TV series with Roy Finnis. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Richard knows or knew Roy Finnis's son. They used to have coffee together at, I think it was a Starbucks up near Topanga Canyon. And I tried desperately. I wanted desperately to get Roy Sinnis on the show to interview him, but unfortunately, he was up there in years. He's still with us, as far as I know, but he was up there in years and just wasn't up for coming on the radio, huh?
Just wasn't into doing that at that time in his life,
But
I guess.
He's one of the few Hollywood celebrities that had a definite belief in the UFO topic being the real thing.
Oh.
Now, here's a little factoid that you may or may not know about. But he and his wife were out driving, excuse me, down the 405 here in Southern California one afternoon, roughly 3 or 4 days before the very first episode aired of The Invaders. And as they were driving down, his wife suddenly turned to her husband, Roy, and said, "Roy, what's that?" And she was looking up in the sky. It was a freaking UFO. And he saw it, and she said, "Oh my God, Roy, who are you going to call?" Nobody. What?
Mm-hmm.
He said, no. He said, they think it was just a publicity stunt for the show.
That's exactly what they would have thought.
Yep. So.
Well, that show is absolutely one of my favorites as a kid. And Roy Sinnis he's like 85 now.
Yeah. But so I mean, you think Hollywood, oh my God, it's so big. But if you're familiar with the 6 degrees of separation, okay, that just blows my mind how close actually you can be to some people. So
yeah. Well, especially out here, it's like you run into people at the grocery store, that you've seen in your favorite shows and things like that. But that's really interesting. I never heard that he had his own personal UFO.
Oh yeah, he's a very deep believer in the topic. Oh yes, he's very deep.
Do you remember
kind of why.
or anything like that of what he saw?
Oh, it was just a disc in the sky flying along. Just a disc. But now I heard back in, when I was doing my original first radio broadcast, UFOs Tonight. And incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, Rene was the lady that did all the commercials on the air right down there in studio, and she gave out the phone number.
Yes, I did.
One year when I was broadcasting with Dwight Schultz, and it might have been his birthday, I don't remember, but Rene came in and sang happy birthday. And if you closed your eyes, you would have swore to God it was Marilyn Monroe. You remember that, Rene?
I do. Happy birthday, Marilyn Monroe style. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, I had forgotten all about that. That's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny. Yeah, we had some good times out there at the old underground radio station. Every freaking Friday night of my life for 5 years.
Yeah. Yep. And my wife, now she won't like it that I tell this, but back in those days, okay, she would work on the magazine from damn near sun up to sunset. But she always had to be with us when we were doing the show. So yeah. Rene, tell them what she would do.
Oh, we had this big table that had all these microphones that were coming out. So we each had microphones, and Vicky would just crawl under the table and sleep while we were doing this.
Go to sleep. I guess she would.
Possibly fall asleep during all this. But she did. She would knock out crazy.
Yeah.
And the rest of us would just carry on as we did. But yeah, it was great. We had some great guests and great times, great surprises, some kind of funny things where people would get pissed off and hang up on us.
Well, yeah,
Fun.
that's all part of the process.
Yeah.
Well,
Part of the
Heather,
fun.
so now you said something very interesting a couple of minutes ago about Ouija boards. Now, I've been anti-Ouija board for practically forever. As a matter of fact, I would not deem one to come into my home. But what is the thing with those? Do you have any idea of what it is about that can be dangerous? I'm not saying it's dangerous per se, but if it's misused, it can become very dangerous, can it?
Yes. So from my experience, I'm talking to spirits and everything. Spirits are a lot harder to get in contact with than like bad things, dark entities, demons, things like that. From my knowledge.
Is that the Hounds of the Baskervilles I'm hearing? And
Yes.
That's Bailey letting everybody know she's a dog. I'm a dog.
Bailey the
Dog.
Beagle.
for the longest time, I thought it was my dogs in the next room. And then I thought, oh, it's somebody else's this time.
No, it's my dogs.
And I thought,
Yeah,
how apropos on Halloween. It sounds like, the Hounds of the Baskervilles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Heather. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No big deal. So it's easier to get in contact with bad entities, especially when you're playing a Ouija board. Because from my experience talking to spirits and things like that there is no hell. And so bad entities, dark entities, demons, they all roam the earth. And that's why our earth is going to crap right now. And that's why terrible things happen all the time. And this is getting progressively worse. So whenever you're doing a Ouija board, the first thing that's going to come through is something bad, but they're going to assume themselves as something great, something nice. And, we're not bad, because that's just how they do. So if you do that and you get these Ouija boards and you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to clean your house afterwards and you don't know who you're talking to, you're inviting things into your home and into your life, that could just put a very big kink into it.
Is it true that they must in some manner be invited to come in?
If you have a Ouija board, that's their open invitation.
Well, because what I was always taught as a kid, and why I never messed with them, I don't like them, was the fact that it's a two-way avenue being conducted by someone who doesn't know how to open and shut doors. And that's problematic because you can invite something in and then you don't end it correctly and it's not gone. It's there. It's still with you.
Yes. And that's why you're supposed to burn Ouija boards and everything else just to try to get it to close.
Burn?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Ouija boards, they're meant for kids, I think 8+. So you can summon demons at 8+.
Yeah, I had some weird experiences years ago. A girlfriend of mine and I with the Ouija board. It was really bizarre, but there was a lot of negative stuff, that came through.
What happened?
We stopped doing. Well, we would. What was really weird was, and I would test it to make sure I wasn't doing anything unconsciously, and I would close my eyes and I would let her read out the letters that we were going over and stuff just to sit from time to time. But I remember one time we were doing it and they said, it said we were in danger and that there was someone inside the house. And we were in her house and it was kind of secluded. There's an area of Los Angeles called Mount Washington, and it's kind of like the next set of hill over from Hollywood Hills. It's not as quite as fancy as Hollywood Hills, but it's like an artist community, and there's lots of trees in between each house and everything. So we were kind of isolated. And it said something about someone being outside. And then the next thing we knew, there was a knock on the door. And, stupid us, we went and answered the door. And there was a guy standing out there and another guy standing down in the street like he was waiting for him. And the guy said, "Hi, we're prophets. Can you help us out with some food? Can we come in, get some food or in some water and stuff?" And, we said, no. And we shut the door. But it just seemed weird that the Ouija board said that there was someone outside, and then this guy comes to the door. And if he had just come to the door asking for something, that wouldn't have been so out of the ordinary. But the fact that he said, "We're prophets," and we were doing the Ouija board, it just kind of seemed very weird. But there would be stuff like that, or we would be communicating with something that we thought was positive, and then it would turn negative after a while. So it felt like it had kind of lured us in with some information that we could connect with, and then it would switch over and start being kind of insulting, and mean and things like that, like sort of making us, feel stupid, or, it would just turn mean. And
yeah, that's what they do. They love it.
Yeah. And things like that. Now, I'm sure there's more, but it's been so long ago. I don't remember, but I'll never forget. And then, later, the Ouija board, after the guys left, it was saying they're behind the house, they're going to kill you, and all this other stuff. And we ended up calling the police.
Do you remember how many times they knocked on the door?
I don't at all. No.
Because if you ever hear like a 3 knock, like a knock, knock, knock,
when you start,
Yep, demonic.
yeah.
Oh, I did that. But when you first asked me the question, I almost said 3, but then I thought, I don't remember that. But
I was just watching the Infield Poltergeist documentary that's on Apple Plus.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that was the first thing I noticed, that the knocks would come in 3s. And I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Right. Yeah.
Did they tell you why they do that?
No.
No. They're mocking the Trinity.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so bizarre.
Now, I'm going to tell you that I don't like Ouija boards. I never have liked them. As a kid, I wanted nothing to do with them. But when I was in my early 20s, before I joined the Army, I had a bunch of teenage friends that would hit skaters. We were skaters. And they would hang out, and we were at a friend's house. And I decided I wanted to scare the shit out of them to get them to stop wanting to do the Ouija. So at one point I took control of it and said that I will make the phone ring at midnight. And then at about 11:45, I said, man, I gotta take a healthy, thing in the bathroom. And I just went in the bathroom and I crawled out the window and went to the guy's grandmother's guest house, which had a separate phone line. And right at midnight, I called and nobody picked up. And so I hung up the phone and made my way back to the bathroom, came out, and half the people were gone.
We probably still talk about that to this day.
Get out of them. And my buddy was in on it. He knew I was going to do this. He says, dude, everybody scream. Yes, it's true. I've always been a dick. But they never wanted to play with the Ouija board again.
There you go. Lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
That's it. But yeah. So I'm, curious, Heather, anytime you get someone coming forward, just spit it out. Don't let us talk up the whole time without.
Don't let us dangle.
Yeah. So Sasha is actually here and she's talking. She said that Sasha. So she's saying that she's only going to be here whenever you actually need her. She said the next time that you're going to need her is during Christmas time when your wife decides to put the lights on the Christmas tree.
Ah, okay. And
does she know what Bailey's barking at? If it's just other dog stuff, or is there something going on outside? I'm not joking. I'm being serious. Like, what's Bailey barking at out there? I always wonder. Like, you're out in the desert, man.
Richie is going, so, yeah. But Sasha is joking about the lights on the tree too, because apparently your wife, Vicky, gets all anxious when it comes to spacing the lights out on the Christmas tree or something, and she gets OCD about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but she's also talking about her mother, Vicky's mother, about how she's been gone like 20 years or so, or a little over 20 years or something. And she's talking about how she's asking if Vicky remembers a letter that she wrote or the journal entry, something about a journal entry, something about Abraham Lincoln. She's talking about that. And she's saying that in there, she wrote something about our reality is closer to the spirit world than we know.
and that's in Vicky's mom's journal. Now, Vicky's mom, Mary Jo, okay, who
I remember
incidentally was a redhead, Gary, from Missouri, okay, was a
He brings
minister.
up my name because he knows that that's my kryptonite. My girlfriend's a ginger too. And I'm good at ginger. My middle son's a ginger.
Ginger.
Okay. She was a minister in the Unity Church.
Yeah.
And a funny little story. She had gotten ill. Okay. And she got to the point where she needed to have caretakers. So we, of course, opened up our home to her. She would be with us for a few months. Then she would go to Vicky's sister and be there a few months, and she'd go back and forth. She ended up passing in July of 1993, and it was a cancer thing, and it was not easy. But I'll never forget when we were in Sunland. Okay, we had a house there that we were renting before we bought our home here. We had two dogs. We had a Labrador Retriever, a blonde lab, Bud Light was his name.
And
This
Cookie.
was before, this was before Bud Light became a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing.
But then we also had a little, she was a shepherd of some type, but Cookie, okay. And Mary Jo loved Bud Light, but for some reason, she didn't care that much for Cookie. And Cookie was a sweet little dog.
He was.
Okay?
I remember her.
Yeah. Well, one day, I'll never forget this. She was coming past Vicky in my bedroom, and Cookie was up on the bed. And for some reason, she didn't like that, and she chased her off the bed. And I said, Mary Jo, I said, we let her get up on the bed. Well, dogs shouldn't be on the bed. Well, maybe not on your bed, but on my bed, but she wouldn't chase Bud off. So I never forgot that. But, I'm going to mention that about her journal.
She's
Heather.
saying that Vicky was 12 whenever she had the dream.
12 what?
Years old?
About?
Abraham
the dream that Vicky had. Oh my God,
She
yes.
said that in her journal she wrote about it.
Yes.
Oh, but it was
Yes.
Vicky's dream.
And now I remember Vicky telling me about that. Oh my God. So
See,
Mary Jo was there.
I'm
But she's
just
talking about how, basically, like how the veil is thin. That's what she's talking about. How there is the reality that we live in is closer to basically her reality right now, and that she knew that a long time ago. Whenever she said Vicky was 12.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. Well, she was a minister then, so yeah, she had some definite ideas about things. Absolutely, yeah.
Sure did.
Ask her if she likes me any better.
She said no. She winked, so she's good.
She winked. That's really wild. I remember now. You're talking about that house, that little gray house out in
Someone.
Sunland. Yeah, that's right. Where we did the magazine for a while.
Yes, we did. And one day, Rene was there. We were packaging up magazines to send out to the subscribers. We were all hungry. And Rene said, well, I'll run down to 10 pesos, which was a little Mexican restaurant, okay, down on Foothill Boulevard. And I'll get all of us some lunch. Oh, great. Well, what do you want, Don? Well, I think I ordered burritos, okay, and some refried beans. Well, Rene went down, got them, came back. We all ate, and for some reason, oh my God, my stomach felt like I had a lead ball in there. And that night, close to midnight, my bowels exploded. I had food poisoning from that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do now. Oh my God.
I bet the toilet remembers.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it did.
So that little something extra that I added in there, probably I shouldn't have then. Is that what
you probably shouldn't have. But this is for Jagari. So after that happened, okay, one day I was in there and I had dropped something in the bathroom, dropped something on the floor. And I went down to pick it up and I looked at the toilet, and underneath the toilet, guess what was living there? A big black widow spider.
Oh man, they like this. Yeah.
Jagari loves spiders, don't you, buddy?
Yeah. The only person with worse arachnophobia than me is my girlfriend, Anima, who's in the chat. By the way, the chat's very active tonight.
Oh, so you guys are just hopeless then. If you're both scared of spiders, who's going to take care of the spider?
Well, look, back in 2003, my daughter remembers this. I bought a terrarium. So I would go, and I'm in Missouri, home of the recluse spider. This is when Discovery Channel did a documentary on recluses. This is where they shot it, right here.
Oh my God.
They went into a barn here in the Ozarks, and within 20 minutes found over 200 separate recluse spiders. And they're recluses for a reason. They're hard to find. They don't make webs.
Right.
They're the common house spider of Missouri. I've been bit by them, and I'm of that small 1 percentile. I don't react to the bites. I still go take the antibiotics just in case, but I just don't react to the toxins in it. But that doesn't mean it'll always be that way. But I would capture these spiders, and I would put them in a terrarium on my desk, and it's called immersion therapy. And I wanted to conquer my phobia because I'd been mocked for it from my sister. I have 6 siblings, and my middle sister was just relentlessly mean to me about it. And I'm like, screw you, I'm going to beat this. And so I went and I started catching black widows, and I'd keep them on my desk. And I would reach in with a pencil, and I would touch them every day. And then I would put the terrarium top back on, and I would just sit there with them next to me all day. And then I got to the point where I would reach in and touch them with my finger. And once I was able to do that, I no longer freak out. I don't panic. Now it hits me. It's still in there, the fear. Yeah. I'm just more in control of it now. And I will turn.
What do you call those arachnids that are the size of your fist? Big, furry.
Tarantulas.
Tarantula.
Oh, well, I was going to say,
I got a
I
story
call them
for you.
dead because they're usually dead. Although my girlfriend was like losing it one night because I'm sitting here at the desk right here. And I look to my left and there's this wolf spider, a big fella. And he's like, he just walked over and I went, hey. And, he looks at me like, yo, what's up? And I went, oh, you went out and the door is right here. So I opened the door for him and he just worked his way around and I helped him a little bit with my pill box. And he went out of the house, turned around and looked at me and raised up his legs. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you too. And I shut the door and he never came back. And she's like, my girlfriend's Austrian. So she's like, I would have killed him. I'm like, I don't need to.
I got a tarantula story for you. And
all right, I want to hear it.
We're here in the high desert, right? And I've twice killed scorpions that came into my kitchen. Okay. One was the black one, which they say the venom is not pleasant, but it's not that bad. And then the little white ones, which are the SOBs of the scorpion family. But I got them both. And one night, this had to be around 96, I think, because there was an election going on. It must have been Bob Dole and Bill Clinton. And I had been watching something on TV about they were going to have a debate, or I forget now. But anyway, I happened to turn my head and look down the hallway, and I've got a poster now where this thing was. We had another picture there at the time, but I have a poster of Bubba Hotep, and it wasn't there then. But I looked, and right above this picture was this big, hairy tarantula on the wall. And I was like, oh! When I first saw it, I didn't know what the hell it was. So we had a big coffee can that was empty. And I got the coffee can, went over to the wall, stuck it up there, managed to get the tarantula inside. And I yelled for Vicky. She was back in her office. She came out and she took a look at it. And she said, what are you going to do with it? And I said, well, I'm going to take him outside and release him. But I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And she said, oh, okay. So I put some air holes in the plastic lid, right? And I put some duct tape around it. And then I put it up on the counter. So just about the time I was going to bed, one of those negative demons, Heather, came in and tickled me. And I said, oh my God, yeah, I'm going to do that. So the lid off, took him outside, and I put him in the bushes to get him out of there. But I pried the lid off, and I kind of bent around the aluminum side, and then I put it back up, and I had the duct tape that I had originally, sealed it with, kind of torn off, and I went to bed because I knew often Vicky will wake up like at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because she's hungry. She's got to have something to eat. Low blood sugar. So she'll come out and she'll get something to eat. But she saw that thing on the counter and she freaked. She came in grabbing me. Dawn. That spider got loose. And I woke up at first. I didn't know what. And I started to laugh. And she just looked at me and she said, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. I love it. And that triggers my memory in the Army because we went to Riyadh and we were out in the field and we were on TDY. You know what that is, Don?
Temporary duty.
Yeah, I was there on temporary duty and we were out in the field. And I woke up one morning and to my chagrin, there was this camel spider on the guy sleeping.
Right, they're huge, aren't they?
Here it is. That's what those things look like.
Oh.
I wanted to make sure to share it with you. And I looked over and I remember the panic in me. Initially, all I wanted to do was I actually considered in my mind shooting it off his chest. I actually considered locking and loading, shooting it. And I went, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And so I'm like going, how am I going to get this thing? Because he's sound asleep. And if he moves, I don't know, because we got mixed stories of how poisonous. They're not poisonous at all. We learned later. But anyway, I ended up grabbing one of my desert boots. You know, they're just like jungle boots, but they're tan. And I just grabbed it and smashed it into his chest.
Poor guy.
He woke up like, oh. And he looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing? And I said, you can thank me later. And I just walked away from it. But I really did. There was this moment I considered shooting it. I could get really low on the horizon and just shoot it right off. And I'm like, what are you doing? You can't do that. They will put you in prison.
Chanel just said she likes spiders.
Yep.
Yeah. Some people do, man.
Spider Woman.
Spider Woman. Hey, Rene, you brought it up earlier. You mind if I show it? This is to his new short story that came out for this Halloween called Troll by Don Ecker.
Hey,
I did the artwork for it.
Is it up yet? I hope we're not.
This is the artwork I did for his story.
That's amazing.
He did a great job.
It's okay.
Too.
It's okay.
Preview, guys.
I had to work very quickly to get that done for him.
It's really good.
I forgot it was you that did that. And
I said right on the story, courtesy of Gary Cassell.
I know that,
Courtesy.
John.
What am I, Chevrolet? Courtesy Chevrolet.
I forgot today. But you did a great job on that. And the story is really good.
It's a great story. I want to do it as a comic. I want to do it as like a graphic novel. I think that's like short stories are the best thing to adapt into films and into comics.
Oh my gosh, I love
Did I ever
that.
send you my other story, A Person of Interest?
Yeah, I hated it though.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
okay.
No, you never sent it to me. Person of Interest. I've never read that one.
Oh, yeah, it's about a cop. Okay.
Imagine that. It's about a cop.
And he's investigating, him and his partner are investigating some missing persons. And then he finds out or gets a lead on what is actually taking these people and why. And that would make a great graphic novel too. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, man. Now, Don, I don't think Don is amused, but I think he's finally sold on it. I don't read much anymore because I'm always busy. And if I get a graphic novel script, I will send it back to the author if it's too long. I will tell them, shorten this. It needs to be the exact same number as the pages of the book when it's finished. Exactly. If it's longer than that, you're getting too wordy, and I don't have time to read anymore because I'm working all the time. So I have a reader.
That's his story anyway.
I have a little. It's for they originally created them for the blind. It's an audio reader with voices, and they've gotten really good. And whenever I read something of Don's, I give it a Brooklyn accent. That's when Tommy went down there and said, "Hey, how you doing?" No. How you doing?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I'm not from Brooklyn.
I know. It's the closest thing. You can't. It's like your accent's somewhere between New York and Boston kind of accent sometimes. And so I can replace you with either one.
Go pop in your car.
I'm sorry, I'm a dick. This kind of stuff that I say to my friends. I'm mean.
Tell them what you really think. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, let me see here because we got to go to break.
Yep.
Oh, we've still got 2 minutes.
Yep.
We got 2 minutes.
1 minute and 40 seconds.
Is there anybody hanging out, Heather?
Well, we got a lot of people.
Now, Heather had a question. Heather had a question, and she was too polite. And Heather, don't be polite. Just barge in there.
Okay.
She wanted to know how she can see the comments and remarks of the people in the chat lounge.
Go to Rumble, and you can. What I do is I pop the chat out separately, so it's right to the right of the screen here with you guys. Because you can't see the comments in here because for some reason StreamYard hasn't figured out yet how to work with Rumble. Because I think they've got an exclusive deal really with YouTube, is what it is. and they make it hard for all the other streaming services. And I got to be honest, Rumble's where it's at. We're getting a lot of views on our channel for shows off of Rumble because it's going to replace YouTube because YouTube has become too restrictive for streamers, creators.
And it's too arbitrary.
Well, we want to be able to have the ability to say what we want. Now, we have to pay the price if people don't like what we say, but we should have the right to say it and not be restricted by the service itself. And
down
Rumble,
with censorship.
Down
And
with
that's we're at the break, guys. So hang on. We'll be back. This is Dark Matters Radio. Tonight, my special guests, Ms. Heather Besser and Ms. Rene Barnet. And Jagari is in here with me, and Chanel is running the whole show. So we'll be back after these words. Stick around. Oh, yeah.
Is that Joe Walsh on guitar? And that coming back from the commercial break? It sounds like Joe Walsh.
The rocket scientist is back here. I didn't know if I was going to be back. I went over to check Rumble, and I somehow deleted myself out of StreamYard.
Oh, yeah. I saw you get kicked, and then you came back.
Oh. And we got
as my daughter would say, way to go, Boomer.
Boomer. Yeah. I was hoping Vicky would answer that. So anyway, and Miss Bailey is here. Hi there, baby. You already had dinner. I already fed her. So let's get back to the show. Halloween. Have you guys, any of you, had a real scary experience during this time of year? And I'm going to start with Heather, because Heather is the one that, if anybody I would think might have a scary experience, it would be her. But Heather, have you ever had anything around this time of year that made you say, oh my God?
I think I met my first husband around this time.
Well, that could be it.
No, so nothing really out of the normal. I mean, my life isn't normal by any means, but I think just the veil is thin, and I know a lot of people, they want me to go ghost hunting with them during this time, and that's always fun. It's always active whenever they ghost hunt because they know they have a way to communicate, but I mean, nothing out of the ordinary.
All right. Now that brings something to mind right there. Ghost hunting. When someone passes, all right, they pass to the other side of the veil. What is it that is still here, or can they cross over here to influence things in our reality? Exactly how does that stuff work?
Yeah. So from my experience, if they've just passed over, they don't actually know that they've passed over yet. So it takes a minute for them to realize, no one is stuck. There's no such thing as a spirit stuck somewhere at a house, For instance, you might go ghost hunting at the same place twice. One day you have something on camera and EVPs and, all these pictures and everything. And then the next time you go and you don't have anything on there at all. And that's because, they can come and go as they please and they're just not there at that time. If they were stuck there, they would be there all the time,
Yeah.
But they're just drawn to a place. There's such thing as like residual energy and things like that. But I mean, it's just energy. And that's you feel things, you feel sadness, happiness, things like that.
Okay, I had an experience, and then I guess you would have to call it an NDE, a near-death experience, although I was clinically dead. In Vietnam, when I was wounded, I expired on the operating table, okay? And here was the weird thing about that. I had early that morning, okay, before I got hurt, I had been out all night long patrolling around this camp where we were expecting imminent enemy attack. And I was the non-commissioned officer in charge of the reactionary platoon. In other words, if we got hit and there was a major offensive going on then it was my job within the camp to take the team out there to plug the wire. Well, I got back. It was in the wee hours of the morning. I was hungry. I hadn't eaten for over a day, and I had a ration. Well, about roughly 4 hours later, and this would have been, I don't know, somewhere between 9 a.m. and maybe 9:30, something like that, is when I got hit. Now, they ended up, my wounds were extensive enough. They flew me all the way down to Da Nang. And they got me to the hospital. As soon as they looked at me, they did a triage. They rushed me into the surgery. And they shot me up with anesthesia. Well, because of that ration I had earlier, that, Gary, you can explain what happens, but I began vomiting, and I vomited to the point where I literally, and I remember becoming conscious because I guess I was on the verge of expiring. I couldn't breathe. And then the next thing I knew, and I remember this as vividly as anything, I was suddenly so at peace with myself and everything around me. I got to tell you, I had never experienced anything like that in my life. And I was just as happy as a bug in a rug. And then I realized I'm floating. This is the sensation. And I looked around and I could see the surgical team working on somebody on the table. And I didn't even at first realize that was me on the table. And I thought, okay. And I'm floating away, and suddenly it's like somebody grabbed me from behind and started pushing me back. And I heard, "Your work is not yet done." And the next thing I knew, I woke up in ICU. Now, that was strange. And incidentally, that happened on Easter Sunday, April the 2nd, Easter Sunday.
Yeah, it just wasn't your time to go. Not at all. I've had some people that I've talked to that had near-death experiences before, and they always say the same thing about how it's not painful. It's not like you're going to sleep. It's just transitioning into a new life per se, and it's some people, whenever they go and they see everything that's on the other side, the peace and the love that they feel, they don't want to come back.
Was Sasha there?
Sasha will always be there. Yeah. Because whenever you do your life review or, whenever you go up there, she'll be there for that as well.
Can I look forward to a back rub?
To a what?
Back rub.
From Sasha?
Yeah.
I don't think Vicky would like that very much, but I'm sure Richie would do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You want a happy ending, Dawn?
Oh, no.
I don't know about happy endings and spirit guides. I've never asked about that.
Me love you long time.
I'll get on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a question. Okay, since we're not censored on this show, apparently, because I've been hearing Gary cussing up a street.
Gary's saying all kinds of effed up stuff.
He's dropping the F-bombs and everything else.
Things
So-
get weird around Halloween.
Do they have sex on the other side? Or is it just
So-
an itch that no longer needs to be scratched?
Yeah. So from my experience, I think that because during readings and stuff, people have asked me that before, and whether they're forthcoming about it or not, that's up to them to answer it. But they have said that there is something like that. So whatever that means, I don't know, because they're not, in physical form. I don't know.
They call it haloing.
Haloing. Okay.
Okay, I don't know
Now,
what that means. Wasn't it?
okay, that's a great place for me to once again jump in. Haloing, which seems
Yeah, I was
to
joking. I don't know what it's called.
suggest angelic beings. Now, once upon a time, and Rene will remember this, I had met through Rene and my old radio producer, Jeff Floral, another psychic who ended up, I interviewed her a couple of times. I ended up she did a reading on me. And, hey, look, Heather, I don't know. I'm pretty, lightweight in the info department when it comes to this. But she said at one point, and she might have been BSing me, but she said I had 11, that's 10 plus 1 guardian angels at one point because of the things I was doing in my life, protecting me. Now, I got to tell you, I trust you a whole lot more than I ended up trusting her.
Yes.
Is that bullshit?
Well, I think that she might have mistaken guardian angels for spirit guides and higher guides and things like that, because they can come and go. Like Sasha is your main one, and she will always be there until the day that you transition. But, if you're in times of need, like during that time that you were in the military, in the service, and, times are very hard, where Sasha can't be the only one there, more can come in and they can, help out and
For
try
my
to guide.
spirit group?
They could. Yeah.
I mean, is that where they would come from, as far as you know?
They don't necessarily have to come from there. I'm not sure how it works, like how they, get picked and chosen and things like that. But they could be. But, guardian angels and things like that. I've never actually talked to anyone's guardian angel before because I can't. Guardian angels are higher of holiness than my capacity. Angels and guardian angels especially have never been here on earth before, ever.
Never.
No. A lot of people tend to
now,
think.
Are you familiar with the book of Enoch?
No.
Okay. How about Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 through 4?
I am not really into the Bible.
Okay. It's real simple. I'm not a religious kind of guy either. I believe in a supreme being. That I believe in. Okay. But in the Bible, which is a lot of it came from ancient Sumeria, which was our first recorded civilization that goes back roughly 6,000 years ago. In their writings, they talk about those beings who from heaven to earth came, the Anunnaki, okay, which basically, I think, if that's true, they were extraterrestrials, but whatever. But in the Bible, it says the sons, plural, the sons of God, which can be interpreted as angelic beings, came to earth, found the daughters of men to be desirable, and took among them as many wives as they chose. And obviously they had relations with them. And as a result of those relations came the Nephilim. All right.
So they're able to procreate is the other important thing.
Yes, they procreated. Now, I would think you might be interested in maybe looking into that a little bit, because a lot of that stuff is pure fascination. I'm fascinated by that, and what it means, I don't know. I mean, hey, look, 6,000 years, a lot of stuff could have gotten wrong, but it's fascinating nonetheless. And the Book of Enoch, okay, which is a book that the church removed from the Bible, talks, for whatever reason, they didn't want the masses to read this. They talked about those angelic beings, the bad ones that came down to earth. And as a result, they had these offspring, this progeny, the Nephilim, which ultimately caused God to arrange the flood to wipe all them out. So this goes back beyond probably 12,000 years ago when this was originally put down on paper, if you will. I don't know. But it's curious. I find it very curious.
You're saying, Don, that the offspring of the Anunnaki, and whoever we were at the time on Earth, every offspring was called Nephilim?
Well, the ones that came as a result of
the bad
sexual relations between the sons of God and human women. Okay.
And of course, this is also in Greek and, mythology with the demigods. It's the same thing.
Okay, here's something. Speaking of demigods, are you all familiar with the Epic of Gilgamesh?
Yep.
Okay.
And the inspiration
Heather,
for Noah's Ark.
You know who that was? Okay. Gilgamesh was one of the very early kings of the Sumerian city of Uruk. I hope I'm saying that right. And he was famous. As a matter of fact, the first bit of written literature ever discovered on Earth was the Epic of Gilgamesh, which was taken from King Ashurbanipal's library. It was discovered in the 1920s, I believe, translated, and this is the first written literature ever. Now, this epic talks about the king Gilgamesh, who was a demigod. His father was human. His mother was an Anunnaki, allegedly, and he was born and took on many characteristics of the Anunnaki, including his height. He was purportedly 17 feet tall. Okay. Now, this guy was a real rabble-rouser. And the story itself, the Epic of Gilgamesh, is very interesting. But the reason I bring this up, it turns out I just saw a thing on the internet that allegedly his tomb was discovered. He was about 2600 BC, okay, is when he allegedly died. He was buried within the city in a great tomb, which over the years, everything collapsed around it, but they found this. And it was reported. And before they could open it is when the United States invaded Iraq to get rid of Saddam. Now, where this site was, the army went in and set up a base exactly right there, chased everybody out. Okay, nobody knows what happened to the tomb after that. It's believed that one of the reasons they went there, they were looking for ancient artifacts, perhaps technology that the Anunnaki had brought down, other things, and they also went into the Natural History Museum in Baghdad and looted that. So whatever they found is anybody's guess. But that was some pretty heady stuff.
Yeah. So where is that still called the same city name? They kept the old name?
UR UK.
Oh,
Eric,
you're
Eric.
Eric. Yeah, that's right.
Eric.
Okay. So we don't know what's happening there now. Is it being guarded? Is it everything gone now? I wonder.
I have no idea, Rene. None whatsoever.
That's weird.
None whatsoever. But
It's so crazy.
some of these,
how did you hear about this? I mean, because
I stumble over it.
talk about it on the news. So
Yeah, I see anything about archaeology. That's always been one of my pet little loves. And I just, I start to read it to see if it's something I'm interested in. This was because Gilgamesh is, if he were real, and it seems to suggest he was real. Now, whether he was 17 feet tall, as it was purported to be, he was purported to be, because he was a demigod. We do know that there were giants in those days. Yep. There have been enough skeletal remains.
It's also in the beginning of the story of Noah, is that in the days of Noah, giants roamed the earth.
Right.
And there's parallels to Gilgamesh and the Great Flood.
Oh, yeah.
And just some crazy stuff. And if you saw the more recent version of Noah with Russell Crowe, they actually went to the Book of Enoch for that. And that talks about the Nephilim and how they were turned to stone, and that they got their redemption by helping Noah do what he needed to do to save all the life, and that those that had to die. And it had to battle and fight for them. It was a really good film. I actually really liked that movie. Did you ever see that one? Any of you?
I did not.
You need to see it, because it is based on the story of Noah from the book, from what is that tribe? I forget the name. It's the Tewihedo Church Orthodox in Africa. And they're the only Christian Bible that still includes the Book of Enoch.
Oh, that's interesting. Gosh.
Renee,
I think it's the same tribe that says that they have. Oh wait, no, it's not. But I've gotten them crossed in my head many times, because there's that tribe that says they have the Ark of the Covenant.
Well, that's in one of the churches in Ethiopia. Yeah,
Ethiopia.
St. Catherine's Monastery, I think. Heather, were you saying something, or?
Yeah, I said Gloria's here.
Gloria, what is she? Yes. What has she got to say? Anything? Gloria, guys, is my friend who you mentioned Easter earlier, Dawn. She passed away on Easter. It will be 3 years ago, this coming Easter, suddenly, totally unexpectedly. And she and I did a lot of tours in France and the UK together, leading.
So you're going to France next year?
Yes.
Because of a date that Gloria gave you, correct?
Yes.
And Heather, you're going also?
Yes. Yes, yep. And that's what she's talking about. She's snapping her fingers.
Oh man.
And she's like, let's go.
Yeah, I know. I've got a lot.
Reminder that time passes differently on her side.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I put up a board yesterday in my, like I used to have in my production office, just with all the different projects I'm working on. And I think I shouldn't have done that, because it scared the hell out of me, because I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm losing my mind here doing so many things. But what's really weird is, on my show Night Vision on Friday nights on KGRA, I have an official historian named James Martin, who is often on the show and with me, but it's like the same. I'm not finding my words here, but it's like all these different things. We had this lady who was a psychic, or I guess she calls herself a witch. And I had her on the show before. Her name's Rachel Hancock, and she's from Manchester, England. And she's working on her doctorate's degree right now. So she's no slouch. But she told me about a year ago, oh, next year you're going to be so busy. You're just not even going to be able to turn around. And I'm going, no, I'm winding down my career. I'm not building. She goes, no. And so right now I've got 10 projects that I'm working on. And I just had to put them up on the wall to keep them straight and everything, and to remind myself to work a bit on each one, when I can. But it was interesting. I thought, oh, she's full of it. I'm not going to be, gearing up and doing more work, but that's exactly what's happened. So,
Well, I want to mention before tonight's show is over, a couple of things. Number one, on Saturday, with the KGRAdb host Popeye, his show Down the Rabbit Hole, I had joined him this past Saturday with Commander Cobra and Chris DiPerno. We did a show about the current military events. Chris was a Marine. I was in the Army, and Commander Cobra was in the Coast Guard, and I think the Air Force. He's a pilot. Okay.
Right.
So anyway, after the show was over, I was talking to the host, Popeye, and we were talking about various things. He's got an interest in the UFO topic, and I don't think he knew how extensive my background was. And I told him, I said, well, yeah, I said, some of the people that I knew, I was friends with, I worked with, were people like Zachariah Sitchin, and that blew him away. And I said, Ingo Swann, the guy that basically designed the protocols for the Stargate program run by the CIA and the DIA, Defense Intelligence. And I said, I knew Colonel Gordon Cooper, one of the original Mercury 7 astronauts. And he said, oh my God, he said, you got to come on and talk about all those guys. So we're going to be doing that on Saturday. And Heather, if any of those people might be around or get word that we're going to be doing that, and you hear about it during the show, that would be very cool.
Okay, for sure.
Ingo Swann, Zachariah Sitchin. And Zachariah was one of the first people you said when you and I met.
He was the first one to come through after Buckwheat. Buckwheat was the first.
Yeah. Okay.
Zachariah, and he was with Buckwheat.
Yes.
Zachariah, remember?
Yes.
That's
Yes,
so
I do know.
interesting.
Buckwheat, is with Zachariah.
Oh,
yes.
I don't know if Zechariah is anywhere around at all, but if you ever do hear from him again, could you ask him if he knows anything more, or if he feels any differently about his theories when he was on Earth, or does he feel the same about them? Was he on the right track? And, is his, does his research bear out? Does he have something that he's learned more on the other side? But
For sure. Yeah. I wish that he would come through. I just can't make him come through, but yeah.
Oh, I know. And so what did Gloria have anything particular to say, or is she offering help, or is she just trying to?
She's just bossy. She's just bossy, and she's just telling you that she's ready to go. Like, she wants to do the tours. She's excited. Let's go, kind of thing.
Well, I know that before she told you to have us take a group picture at a certain point, at a certain location, which was funny because what you said it sounds stupid, but it's like, all I could think of was like the Jolly Roger, pirate, crossbones, skull and crossbones. And I said, I know exactly where you're talking about. And it's the cemetery at Rennes-le-Château in France, where, Saunier is buried, who was the sort of guy, that the priest there, the local village priest that solved off all the mysteries. We obviously found something of great importance and secrecy there, and sort of started the whole Da Vinci Code. It basically kicked off Holy Blood, Holy Grail, and all the subsequent books were based on that original mystery. So it was just so funny because you were going, but it looks kind of funny. It's kind of, and that Dolly Roger, or that skull and crossbones over the cemetery, does look very cartoonish. It's
she used a word. I can't remember what she called, but like the what's it called? Like
pediment.
Yes.
The pediment. Yeah, she kept talking about a pediment. And I said, I don't even know what the hell a pediment is. And so I looked it up, and it's actually when you have a doorway that has, a vaulted roof on it, that little triangle inside that area is called a pediment. And that's exactly where, on that gate, on that entrance, there's a little roof. And then inside that triangle is the skull and crossbones that she was referring to. So I had to look up first what a pediment was. And then when she said, I don't know if this makes any sense, but, I'm just seeing like the pirate, Jolly Roger, I'm going, oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking about. And so she said,
I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Oh, that's okay. Anyway, so I'm just wondering, whether or not she's going to show up in the picture, whether something's going to show up in the picture, why she wanted to.
She said, well, of course.
Oh, of course what?
She's going to show up in the picture.
Well, it'd be the first time because she never took pictures.
Heather, I have a question that I've thought about many times, and we, among my friends, like when my buddy Richie passed, I said, well, now he probably knows what the real secret is about UFOs and those things. And when somebody has spent their life working on something, once they pass over, I presumed that it suddenly becomes very clear to them. Is that the way it works? Or am I just whistling Dixie?
No, from my knowledge, once you get over there, you know everything. You know the future, the past, and past lives even, and things like that. So you're right. You're good.
Is Richard still around, or did he go?
No.
Okay.
What about people? What about people that come into this existence? Obviously, reincarnated, and every so often you'll hear about these very young children that still recall their past lives. Now, one very famous incident, and I saw this years ago, it was on YouTube. A young kid, his parents, none of them were military or anything like that, but this child was always talking about when he was flying an airplane. And as a very small kid, he used to draw pictures of these airplanes, and the little man inside, is how he described them, caught on fire. And it turned out they were able to apparently track down that in his last incarnation, this little boy had been a Navy pilot that was shot down by the Japanese over in the Pacific in an airplane that burned up when it went down. And he seemed to recall that. And they got some names from this little boy. The name of the aircraft carrier he had been on, supposedly, and they verified all of that. How does that work?
Yeah, so we just come into a different body. We're the same soul, just a different body. Whenever we're kids, we don't have anything to prevent us, to tell us that we're weird and we're, strange and things like that. And this is not normal, because as a child, if you're a young child like that talking, then you think that's normal, because you're having all these thoughts. It's not until whenever you get older and society tells you that's not normal.
If they put a filter on you.
Yeah. My daughter actually does that.
And parents, a lot of times, like, will say, "Oh, that was just a dream. That didn't happen." So they'll like sort of suppress them, unwittingly, from, and it's just something. Well, maybe it was just my imagination. Maybe I dreamed it, and then they no longer are be able to get the same info. But yeah, I think little kids do see and hear a lot more than we do just normally.
Yeah, for sure. My daughter, who's 3 years old, like I said earlier, in her past life, she was actually an outlaw. And she was playing with her little Thomas the Train engines, and I was listening, but, she doesn't watch outlaw shows and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. She doesn't watch any of that stuff because, I don't watch any of that stuff. But as she's playing with her toys, I'm listening to her, and she's telling the people, she's like, "All right, everybody, put the money in the hat," as she's robbing the trains. And I'm like, that's odd, for a 3-year-old to say, but I mean, and she really believes it. And sometimes she'll say things, she'll say just, I can't even think of like an example right now, but she'll just say certain things in her, just the way that she says it and the words that she uses is not from this time. Strange.
What do you think causes someone to decide to reincarnate back into this existence?
I think that they have just unfinished business, or if they want to do, more trials in life, because our earthbound existence right now seems like a dream, whenever we're in heaven, because the time is so different, and our time here, as compared to there, is so short. And so it's just like a dream. And so, I don't know, I guess unfinished business, things that, lessons learned, maybe lessons for other people to learn, things like that.
And is it true that unborn children, I mean, from your knowledge, when they're conceived, decide to pick their parents?
Yes. So not only do you pick your parents, you pick everything that happens in your life, whether you have, a child that passes, or whether you have, whether you're an orphan, or whether you, have some sort of traumatic event that happens to you. Like everything that you choose in heaven. And then you live it here.
Heather, we've talked about that before, and, and I can accept that, I guess, but you think, why in the world would anybody choose to come here and lose a child? Because that's just, horrific, as some of us know.
Both Rene and I both have lost a child.
Yeah. So is it because it's something we needed to learn from that? Or why do you think we would choose that?
I think it's losing a child is probably something for other people to learn through your experiences, because you are able to help, other grieving parents who don't know how their life is going to, keep going.
Yeah.
But, you're a living testimony, both of you are, as to how that you just, can get over it. I wouldn't say get over it, but, get through day to day and, to help other people. If other people had questions, I'm sure that you would be more than willing, to talk them through everything.
Oh, absolutely. Every time I hear about somebody, that's lost a child, I'll either tell them directly or through one of their loved ones, look, if they need anyone to talk to that knows what's going on here, I'm available 24/7, call me, because sometimes it's like, I remember, that's the first thing was I wanted to speak with someone that actually knew, what I was going through, because I needed someone to tell me that you will get through this. At some point, you will feel joy again. And it is like a real, it's become like something I really want to get more involved in. And I know, Heather, we've talked about it before about, maybe putting together retreats and things like that, because it seems like there should be a different way for human beings to accept and handle death, especially if we're finding out that, it's just, we're going to a wonderful, wonderful place. And that when we do that, we're also going to see everyone that, that we lost before, everyone that went before us. Instead of it's tragic, but it's really tragic for the people that are left behind, not for the person who's actually transitioned. We're feeling sorry for ourselves, basically. And it's understandable because, someone comes up to you and says, for the next however many years that you're going to live, you're not going to see this person that you love so much ever again until you transition. So I get why people are upset, and I've been upset, and I've been, it's a physical, it affects you in every single way.
Oh.
But I wonder if maybe that's it. I don't know, Dawn. And it just to show that, you can live, because at that time, I don't know, Dawn, if it was the same for you, probably. It's like, how's the world still spinning? How is everybody just going to work? My kid is dead. What in the world is, how can anything ever be the same again? And it really throws you into a whole weird situation.
You have to think about it too. Like, that's what they chose as well.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. It's like, I want to educate myself more about that type of thing so that I can help other people. First of all, help other people by saying, look, I'm still standing. I did live through it. Don too, Don's, done a huge body of work since his tragedy, but, not taking anything away from either one of our situations. But we are here as a testament, to people who have lost a really, really close loved one.
Well, in many ways, it's been my experience that the human being can be the toughest, most enduring thing in creation. But conversely, the human being can also be so fragile that it's a dichotomy. Okay, it's simply a dichotomy. There were times when I thought, man, I just ain't gonna make it, but I did. Okay.
Yeah.
When my former wife and I lost the child, we were broken up within a year.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
That happens a lot. And she basically, I'm not even going to say it, but she was so shattered that, it was just one of those tragic things. But hey, I remember something. I forget, it was one of my parents. It might have been my dad. I don't remember. But they said, this too shall pass. And although at the time I didn't believe it, it was true.
Yeah. Time is a healer. So I think if people could really understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel for them.
You've still got the scar. The scar will be there forever.
And you are a different person. You're forever changed by it. But sometimes it's for the better. I didn't realize that there are gifts that you get, from that kind of grief, sort of more understanding, more empathy for other people and things like that you just didn't quite realize you had in you. So
now Vicky thinks I got harder.
Pardon?
Vicky thinks I got harder as a result of that.
Oh, I did. I know I did. I mean, it's funny because I used to be so, it would be difficult for me to, say what I really meant or, tell someone off if I thought they needed it. Now it's like I'm just cruising for a bruising, give me a chance. I mean, literally, what did I tell you, Dawn? I called Dawn up a couple days ago and said, Hecker, I got a bone to pick with you. And then what did he do? He turned it right back on me and proved that I was wrong. So, I'll think a little bit harder next time before I do that to Dawn. He goes, oh, you do? And I go, yeah, why did you blah, blah, blah? And he goes, oh, hello, young lady. I sent you several messages. And I look and I go, oh, shit, he's right.
But back to, what we're talking about, like that's the joy in what I get whenever I do the things I do, the readings and everything, is that they can connect with their loved ones. They can talk to their spirit guides. And it's almost like a healing aspect happens.
Yes.
Because that you know that there isn't just nothing after we pass away. Death isn't bad. Death is a good thing. This right here is just the play that we're doing on earth until the curtain drops, And so that, we can talk to our relatives, we can talk to our loved ones, we can talk to anybody that we want to on the other side, because they do hear us. Whether they respond back. Sasha.
Whether they give a damn or not, that's
it,
question.
Sasha. No.
They're all up there having a ball. We're down here suffering,
Exactly. But if you're up there, why would you want to come back though? Because it's such a glorious, glorious place, And I'm just thankful that they do actually come down here and talk to me, because they know we miss them. They know that, because we have human emotions. And so we can't help that. That's why funerals and everything's that's for us. That's not for them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Grief is for the people left behind.
Yeah.
Because the people on the other side don't need
Well,
it.
what about those entities, those individuals that have passed that, as Heather said earlier, have unfinished business? Now that's got to be an itch that's very tough to scratch.
Yeah. There has been several times that I've done readings that, there's been people that came through and they've apologized to somebody, because they know, not because that they necessarily feel bad about it, but they know that we feel bad about it, because we have those emotions. They don't have those emotions anymore.
Well, you had that situation with Vicky's dad. He came through to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, several times like that. Yeah. They come through and they just want you to hear it, from them one last time, like they are sorry. And I think somehow that makes us feel some sort of way,
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's, it definitely makes you feel a bit better when you feel like, okay, I know where they are. They're in a good place. They're safe. They're fine. I'm still going to miss them. I'm still going to be sad about that part, but at least I'm not going to be worrying myself to death on where the heck is my kid. All bets are off now, all this religious stuff and superstition and anything else, I need to know, is it for real? And do we go on?
Yeah, they're definitely not alone by any means at all. They're just surrounded by love and people that love them, unconditionally and more than we could ever imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a term on earth that we could use to, describe that type of love that they have around them. So and then time is different,
When we cross over, do our capabilities or love increase? Like, I mean, okay, you know how you love your child, will I love my kids more or a different way? Or how does love feel? Is it the same?
If I could describe it the way that, that it actually is felt over there, then, I would just know that it's a love that is just limitless.
Much more than even a mother can love a child or a father can love a child.
Yes.
That's hard to imagine, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting. And like, I can't wait I don't want to say anything to happen right now, like knock on wood, but
right.
but whenever that happens, it's going to be wonderful and it's going to be great. And, I know whenever my grandmother passed away, she was kind of like my mother, I loved her, and I never moved because I wanted to stay around her. But whenever she passed, I mean, it was terrible. It feels like a piece of myself went with her,
Yes. Oh,
and,
God, yes.
Yeah. And it was terrible. But I knew whenever she passed on that she was okay, and it was fine. And everybody else was crying and, sad. And I could not help but smile because the way that she was making me feel was just elation, but more than elation. I mean, it was just extreme happiness.
She was in communication?
Yes.
With you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
She wasn't saying anything, but I could feel her.
So it really is, like, people have always said, going home, and then when, you hear people talking about their near-death experiences and they say, I was home, this is not home, that is home. And when you're there, you can so realize that, that this was just, like a training ground or an exercise or
a play. It's a dream.
A few months before I got hurt when I was in the Army, I was in Vietnam up on the DMZ, and I got a radio contact from my CO who was down in Quang Tri, and they were telling me to get down there right away. And anyway, I ended up leaving the DMZ, going back down to Quang Tri, and I was informed that my granddad, who had raised me when I was a real small kid, when my dad was called back into the Army for the Korean War, had a heart attack. And I was able to get an emergency medical leave. So I went back to the States, and I got to see him before he died. Well, he did die while I was still there. And the day of the funeral, we got back from the cemetery and we're at my grandmother's home. And back in Pennsylvania, where I'm from, when somebody dies, usually a lot of friends and family will come to the house, bring food, that kind of stuff, fellowship, to kind of help you deal with it. And I'll never forget, I was so broken up because I was so close to him. I went back into one of the bedrooms and laid down, and I was crying my eyes out. And this happened, and I never fully understood it, but I'm laying on the bed and I'm just devastated. And suddenly, Heather, there was like an energy opened up in the bedroom. And I heard like a buzzing sound. And I didn't know what it was. And I looked up, and it wasn't my grandfather in form.
Was it blue?
It was a blue energy that was there. And suddenly I felt calm and at peace. And I thought to myself, this is him telling me everything is okay. Was I on the money?
Yes. Yes, that's what happens. They're usually so blue for tranquility, peace and things like that. That's amazing. That's great. And just the way that you felt like that, just imagine the way that you felt times a million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I never, as a matter of fact, Gary, I think I mentioned that to you one time, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Yep. I talk to my dad all the time. I've been talking to him since 2008 when he passed away. And I carry on one side of conversations with him. And what's funny is like sometimes it's very loving and sometimes I'll mumble, "You dick bastard," because I'll remember things that he did.
Well, guys, I hate to do this.
Yeah, we're at the end, dude.
We are at the end of the show. Heather, Rene, thank you so much. We will do this again. Gary, thank you. Mark, if you're at home tuned in, buddy, I hope you get feeling better.
Yeah, get feeling better, buddy.
Chanel, as always, you've done a stellar job. Thank you so much. And gang, have a great Halloween. Oh, two things real quick. I'm going to get in trouble for running over time. Thursday, a brand new KGRAdb show is going to be premiering that I, Commander Cobra, Chris DePerno, and Martin Willis will be on. Beginning, it's called UAP Crossfire. Brand new show. It's going to be big. And on Saturday, if you're around and available, tune in to Down the Rabbit Hole with Popeye, because I'll be on there talking about, my career and a lot of people we knew. That's it. Good night and Godspeed.